Rias, to think that you would have a pawn of such great caliber. To think of this pawn having the power to make Riser shiver his own boots himself. To have Riser be shaken by this power. I have to admit, even though I'm the great Riser, this power will be a challenge to fight. Then Riser says to Issei, "Why don't you join me, boy?" Rias probably underestimates you. She probably only gave you those 8 pawn pieces, like she usually does. But if you join with me, I'll give you queen pieces, even a mutated piece to make you more powerful. And I'll even give you a harem of wives if you just join me," Roger said as he grabbed his hand. But Issei, he said no thanks. The reason why Issei is protecting Rias is because, let's just say, a flashback. As there was a girl named Tiamat, and she was forced off into a forced engaged marriage with Issei's brother, Great Red, the apocalyptic dragon, the dragon of the apocalypse. Great Red basically wanted to force a marriage with this girl because of his lust for her body. I'm not going to describe her assets because I'm going to cringe out doing this, but let's just say she had big assets that would make any man simp for her. Yeah. So yeah, Great Red wanted to forcefully marry her, and it makes some excuse like, if we marry, we'll have stronger kids. The dragon god bloodline will be pure, and our kids will be strong. They will be unstoppable. Not even all of existence, the multiverse. Our children can rule over everything. But Tiamat didn't want to marry Great Red, so Issei had to step in, and he fought Great Red in an alternate dimension for Tiamat's freedom. Of course, Issei won. Issei used his darkness plus his negation abilities, his dark magic and his negation abilities, to wound the Great Red to such a degree that it would almost kill him. And then after Issei beat Great Red for Tiamat's freedom, Tiamat began to fall in love with Issei, noticing how good he looks, noticing his power, his dominance he has as a dragon. He was truly an alpha. She began to fall in love with him and even went up to hug him, and Issei hugged her back. And after Issei fought with Great Red in the Holy War, he's never seen her again. Well, she's the dragon god of time, so we don't know where she is. Issei doesn't know where she is. But he'll go look for her. He'll even travel outside the boundaries of time itself to go find her. And that'll be the end. And that's the end of the flashback. As Issei says, no, Riser, I won't join you. Then Riser said, why not, boy? Then Issei says, oh, simple. It's because you're forcing off an engagement against someone's will. Let's be real. Judging by your intentions, I sense from your heart, you want her to be your sex slave, Bronin. Like, bro, all you want to do is fuck her. You don't love her at all. Then a grin grew on Riser's face. He was like, then Riser said, to think you figured it out. My true intention on 3 is, who wouldn't want to fuck a body like hers? Then Issei went and attacked Riser with his dark magic. Issei shot up dark arrows at Riser as Riser was using his Phoenix manipulation magic, his flame magic, to make a sword and block it. As these beings were clashing together, Issei is not using his true power. He's only using his darkness. As when they were fighting, it started to shake the whole stadium, no, the entire dimension itself. As these beings fighting shook the whole dimension, that it felt like a whole earthquake itself. As Sir Zex said, who the hell is this guy? And what is he doing in my stadium? And how does he have so much power? How did he achieve power on such a state where he could fight Riser? Because Riser, he's the second strongest being in all of hell. He's stronger than his father. He's stronger than Riser. Riser's stronger than his own father. So he's literally the man of the house. He's the second strongest being in hell. Even if Riser's immortality was gone, he would still be the second strongest. He wouldn't be as strong, but he would still be the second strongest being in hell. He's close to even Sir Zex's power himself. If Sir Zex has fought Riser, if Sir Zex was fighting Riser, he would actually have to try and use his true power, to use his true God of Destruction form. This God of Destruction form, his final form, makes him the literal embodiment of all of destruction itself. That's the form he would have to use on Riser, and that form is the only thing in all of existence besides besides Sir Zex. That form is the only thing in all of existence that can kill Riser for real, like that can really erase him from existence. Besides Issei's negation abilities and Great Red's reality warping abilities, because his abilities are basically reality warping, and Tiamat's time reversal abilities. So, and Orpheus's abilities. In a nutshell, only like Sir Zex's embodiment of destruction form and all the dragon gods can really kill Riser. Besides that, nothing in existence can kill Riser. As Riser says, this fight ends here, boy. As he shot flames out of his hand, expecting it to incinerate Issei. As this attack itself was supposed to incinerate Issei. That's what it was made for. It was the Phoenix Clan's prized spell. And all Riser saw was Issei, just standing there unharmed, looking bored as hell. As Riser was shocked. How did you not die? That's the Phoenix family's prized magic spell. That's our prized spell. And I'm a high-class devil, the Great Riser, the second strongest being in hell. Just who are you? So Riser screamed out. Then Issei says, you'll have to find out after. Unless if you beat me, of course. Or unless if I put you in your place. As Issei used his darkness and created a sword. This sword would allow Issei to negate. This sword, he put in his negation power into it. It was temporary negation. He was planning on negating Riser's immortality to make the fight, let's just say, to scare Riser, per se. He was planning on negating Riser's immortality, so he put his negation abilities inside of it. He charged it up with negation power. As Riser felt something was off with this sword Issei was creating, he felt like if this thing touches him, something bad is gonna happen. Because he's lucky that Issei didn't use permanent negation, it's only temporarily. So like, basically, if Issei touches Riser with that sword for an hour straight, 1 hour, anybody can kill Riser. And if he gets killed in that hour, he's dead permanently. Because his immortality is negated. Will be negated. As Issei charges up with the blade, as he tries to cut Riser, but Riser is trying his best to dodge, but Issei is not even using 1% of his speed, not even 0.1% of his speed. That's how Riser is able to keep him, because he's holding back on Riser. He doesn't want to one-shot Riser. There would be no fun in that. He's a dragon god. He still has his pride. He has the Vegeta pride, not the Kenpachi pride, like Kenpachi from Bleach. Bro, he will literally nerf himself just so he can have a good fight. As Issei and Riser has a sword fight. As they're fighting with their Phoenix blades, and the negation sword, it didn't negate Riser's immortality since it didn't touch him. It only negated Riser's Phoenix sword, so is gone from existence. As Riser was in shock, as the Phoenix family was in shock, Shizaks was in shock. They were questioning how is he able to erase the Phoenix sword, because the Phoenix sword, it also has a special ability. It can reflect magic attacks like 2 times over. 10 times over. See, it can reflect magic attacks 10 times stronger than they were previously back at the user that was using the magic attack. That's an OP. It's basically an amped version of a full counter. As Riser was in shock, as Riser says, no matter. As Riser was emerging in his second form. As Riser's whole body bursted into flames itself. Riser's whole body was bursting into flames as the whole dimension shook. Rhea shook, the devils shook, the Devil King shook, Leviathan shook, Riser's family shook, as the Phoenix family had a smirk on their face. This was one of their strongest forms. Their pride. They had pride in this form, saying that with this form that Riser has, he can go toe-to-toe with Sirzax exactly. As Sirzax had fear on his face, he was contemplating, if Riser uses this form and fights whoever that unknown man is, he might kill him, and even though he's unknown, he doesn't want him to die yet. He wants to ask questions, where he's from, how did he get that power, and he might even destroy the dimension itself on accident, killing some people. That's another reason why Shizaks doesn't want Riser to let this power loose. Your story ends here, boy, Riser said as he charged up at Issei, and Riser then said, once I defeat you, Rios will finally be mine. As Issei was kinda getting pushed back, but we also have to know Issei is not even using 0.1% of his power. And now Issei says this in his mind while he's getting pushed back by Riser. He's not on the ground yet, but he's getting pushed back. He says, I'll finally have to use 0.1% of my power on an opponent. The most power I ever used on an opponent was 1%, and that was Great Red. That was my brother. But now, I will use 0.1% of my power. As Riser pushed Issei to the ground before he was charging up his power. He thought he finally won as he was charging a fireball in his hands. But then darkness came out of Issei's body itself. Darkness enveloped his whole body, his arms, legs, chest, stomach, whatever, as it turned into an armor. It looks like Asta's double union form. Yes. As it turned into armor, and Issei had a sword. And then before Riser can do anything, when he was about to shoot the fireball, Issei literally swinged his sword, and it negated the fireball out of existence itself, outside of the reality. And then Riser was about to attack Issei, saying, a new power-up won't save you now. You will still lose to my hand, to the power of my hand. I will not lose to someone like you, Riser said, as he charged up at Issei. Then Issei charged up at Riser, swinging his sword like Asta. Yes, it's the same sword as Asta, but it doesn't have anti-magic. It's just negation. As he swings it at Riser, as Riser was in pain and agony, as it literally one-shotted him outside of that form. Yes, it literally one-shotted him outside of that form. And it also negated his immortality too. It negated his immortality and one-shotted him outside of that form for 1 hour straight. If Riser wants his immortality, he has to wait an hour until the negation wears off, because Issei is not using permanent negation. He's only using temporary negation. So anything could kill Riser right now. As the audience was shocked, Rias was shocked, Rias' peers was shocked, Sir Zax was shocked. The Phoenix family was shocked. Sir Zax, he was wondering. He was scared of this power. He was scared of Issei. Being able to one-shot Riser outside, no matter what new power-up you got, being able to one-shot Riser outside of that form just like that. In that form, Riser and Sir Zax are basically equals. They're equal. Like equal in strength, speed, stats. It's just that Sir Zax's battle IQ is higher than Riser's. That's why he would win with high difficulty. As he was shaking in his boots, he even almost pissed his pants because how powerful this boy is. As Rias' peerage, Akano, Kiba, Koneko, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe witnessing this with their own eyes. Someone that's able to one-shot Riser, especially when he's in his other form, which makes him 100 times more powerful than he was previously, which amps him in every way, shape, and form. The Phoenix family was shocked. How someone as an equal to Sir Zax himself, how did he get one-shotted? That's our family's prized second form. How is this possible? I refuse to believe it. As the Phoenix father and mother said in their head, Riser is even more powerful than all of us combined. Riser in that form is able to one-shot all of us combined. As they were wondering, who is this guy? Yes, this is cringe, but I really don't care. They were wondering who is this guy. Flashback when they said that Riser was able to one-shot all of them at once. You see, before Riser knew about Rias, he knew about Serzex, but he didn't know that Serzex, the great Devil King, had a sister. He actually fallen in love with the human. He wanted to have kids with this human. He wanted to have a baby with her. And he fallen in love with her. He wanted her to have his seed. But when he introduced his human girlfriend to his parents, his parents didn't like that at all. His parents didn't like that. His family didn't like that. So Riser's parents and his older brother literally burns his human girlfriend alive, incinerates her alive, burns her. I'm talking even her soul was erased from existence. She's not going to the afterlife. There is no way to bring her back unless if a dragon god blesses you like Great Red, a being that's able to alter and manipulate reality itself on a will, being able to do anything, just limited by the imagination itself. Basically Gremmy's abilities, but with no limits. As Riser was heartbroken and he was angry. Like the only ones who didn't murder like his girlfriend, incinerate her, was like Rabble, so she was excluded. Riser was angry at his family. No, he was pissed. So he tried to team up he tried to fight him all alone, but in his normal form he couldn't do it. But the rage he had for his family for killing his girlfriend made him unlock the new form. And when he unlocked the new form, he beat his family to a bloody pulp all by himself. He soloed all of his family, almost killing them in fact, the damages were so bad that it literally took 3 years for them to make a full recovery. That's how bad the damages were. And now, that human girl was the first love Riser ever had, and that was the only girl that Riser ever loved. And that's where the flashback ends. That human girl named Shizuku was the only girl Riser will ever love. Besides her, he doesn't see women as women. He just sees them as tools for his satisfaction. As Riser tries going back in his final form, but he realizes he can't. Then Riser tries to use his magic power. Then Issei stabs him near the lungs. Not near the lungs where his shoulder was. As Riser notices, he's not regenerating. As Riser was panicking, he was like, no. As he realized this very being, this person could kill him right now. He was scared shitless. As Rias' peers were wondering, and Rias himself, why is Riser not healing? Isn't he supposed to be immortal? He still has his magic because he still uses fire. He was still using his fire even though he got attacked. So why? Why is he not regenerating? Because they know how Riser's immortality works. He basically explained it to them like a dumbass. He explained it to them that his magic is his immortality. That his magic is the key factors of making him immortal. As they were wondering why is his immortality now. The Phoenix family was in shock and they were in fear. To think someone can canceled out the immortality of the Phoenix clan. That means if word gets out that someone can destroy the immortality or like temporarily get rid of it, most of their power will be gone. That's mainly what got them powerful, and their clan can be even extinct, because that was mainly how they got their power, their immortality, their regeneration. And if they're able to negate their immortality, they will be out of business. That means that the Phoenix Tears won't be able to heal anybody. And the Phoenix family, how they made money and got all their riches was they sold their Phoenix Tears. They sold the tears they cry with. And the Phoenix Tears has the ability to heal any injury. I'm talking, you can lose an arm, a leg, but you can even lose your head and it will regenerate that, bring someone back to life. But these Phoenix Tears were very rare, except for the Phoenix clan, and they were very expensive too. I'm talking like each bottle, like tiny bottle, is like half of Elon Musk's net worth, bro. If Elon Musk was in the DXD world and if he wanted some Phoenix Tears, he has to spend half of his net worth for one single Phoenix Tear. That's how expensive they are. That's why barely a lot of people have them. Like, there's only been like 5 devils besides 7 devils in all of hell that's had Phoenix Tears besides the Phoenix clan itself. And they were scared. They were scared of this one. They were scared of Issei. They were scared that he can run their family out of business. And then Issei then says, "Give up, Riser. You've put up a great fight, but all battles must come to an end through a winner or a loser. And in this battle you have lost and I have won." Then Riser says, "You may have won the battle, but I've won the war." Don't give me that crap. As Issei stabs him in his other shoulder, as Riser screamed out in pain, as he had tears in his eyes. Because even though Riser is almost as strong as his ex, the main reason for his durability was his immortality, though. That was one of the key factors of his durability. So getting stabbed hurts, and his pain tolerance was mostly because of his immortality too. So on the durability side and the pain tolerance side, his immortality carried hard. Then Issei says, "Fine, I don't want to do this, but in order to make you come to your senses, I may have to do this." As Issei then displays 10% of his power, as the whole realm was cracking itself, as Sir Zex was saying what was going on, as he was scared shitless. Rias, Peerage, they were scared shitless. Rias was like, what type of power is he? And I wonder if I could get him in my pawn. If I had that power, that powerhouse in my pawn, I would be unstoppable. No other stray devils would dare challenge me. I would actually be the pride of the Grimoire. With that power in my peerage, I could become the ruler of hell itself. Ria's thought in her mind. As the Phoenix family were shivering, then out of nowhere, Riser and the Phoenix family bowed. They bowed down as Riser revealed his Phoenix form and said, "Yes, Your Majesty." As he finally figured out who this being was, it was a dragon. It was the dragon god of negation. It was one of his two masters. Because in the beginning, right, before the universe, space and time, before the other dragon gods existed, like when Zalamo split into two different entities as Issei and Great Red, before like Issei and Great Red fought, they were actually friends. Like they had to like real brothers. And they would even do things together. And they both had a project to create a race besides them, like a race that's lower than them. But it's like this race would be their first creation, and they will be the most important creation. This race will be the most important creation. And Great Red with his reality warping abilities and Issei with his darkness abilities were able to create these beings. And these beings, sorry for the background noise, and these beings were the Phoenix Clan. These beings were the Phoenix Clan. The Phoenix Clans, these beings were designed to be immortal in every way. Designed to almost not being able to die, except if their magic was to be gone, like disappeared. That's the only way they can die. But besides, they can't die. You can erase their soul from existence, they wouldn't die. You can erase their body, their consciousness, their awareness, they wouldn't die. Unless if you erase their magic, because their magic can still cling on to reality, existence itself, even when their souls have died. Their souls have been erased, or if their bodies are erased. Even if their bodies or souls are erased, they can still cling on. And the race that Issei and the Great Red created were the Phoenix Clan. And when the Phoenix Clan was created, they thought of Great Red and Issei as their gods because they were their soul creators. They knew that Great Red and Issei are the creators of everything. And so, because after Great Red and Issei created the Phoenix Clan, they both created the multiverse together, which comprised of infinite universes. And they both created the multiverse came after the creation of the Phoenix Clan, and the Phoenix, and by a command by their master Issei, not Issei, Great Red. Great Red commanded them to pretend to be devils. But they're not. Great Red commanded them to pretend to be devils, and they reincarnated themselves into devil-like bodies. But they also have a true form where they're not the devils anymore. They're their true selves, the Phoenix race. The race of the flying bird. And that is basically the origin of the Phoenix Clan. They weren't even devils for real. They were created by Issei and Great Red. They were the first beings to ever exist. Because of their immortality, they were able to exist for eons. Because this was back before they existed before the creation of the multiverse. So they've been existing for eons. Their immortality has been keeping them alive for eons. And that is the backstory of the Phoenix race. And guys, this is where I'll be ending the story off for today. Hopefully y'all liked the video. It's because I made this video longer than it usually is, because I didn't do my promise like I did yesterday. The day before yesterday, I promised tomorrow that I'll make a video, and I never did. So yeah, I decided to make this video longer. I made it 34 minutes, almost to 40 minutes. So yeah, this could be a short. This could be a mini movie, but I will probably make part 4 either tomorrow or the day after.